I'm just gonna wait a few minutes for people to kind of get on. This is my first ever live video. So here we are. I am sitting in SoulShine studio, this beautiful studio. If you've never had a chance to get here, let's hope when all of this passes, you'll be able to make your way in and enjoy this beautiful space. But for now, thank you for joining me here. Now, if you didn't hear me already say this, this is definitely my first ever live class that I've done before. So the nerves are real, I'll just be honest with you there. I'm not really sure how the sound is. It's a little echoey in here to me, but hopefully it's okay to you. And as a whole, SoulShine and Brighton Yoga Center, we plan on bringing you these at least once a day for the next foreseeable future, we'll say, at least on the weekdays. So tell us what works for you and what doesn't, and all that good stuff as we make our way through. But this is just going to be a pretty standard, semi-gentle Hatha yoga class, and the intent is just to help you find a little peace while stuck at home for now. So we're gonna start. I'm gonna scooch on back onto my mat, and hopefully you'll still be able to hear me. I won't be able to see anything that you're saying, but I know you're here with me, so thank you. We're going to start in a comfortable meditative seat, and so that could look like your standard crisscross applesauce, maybe one foot in front of the other, or maybe you even take one foot on top into the hip crease, or even both if that's a piece of your practice. Once you find yourself in that space, you could even actually pull the flesh out from underneath your sit bones so you feel your sit bones root down to the ground. And then if you're comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes. And let the weight of your body just settle down into the ground. Letting your hips get heavy, letting the hip flexors soften and your knees start to rest. And instead of finding that picture perfect meditative seat that you see on Instagram and Yoga Journal, take a moment to just let yourself sit, let yourself land in this space. And then start to become aware of your breath. And I saw some of you come on, your yogis that are here every day, and then a few of you that I saw sign in, thank you for being here. I know not people that are always practicing yoga, so this is new for some people that are with us. And if that's not something to say thank you for already, then I don't really know what it is. But as you find yourself in this space, taking note of the breath, we can say thank you for the breath. It's this really cool thing that all day, every day, without ever having to tell our bodies to breathe, our body breathes for us. And that's worth saying thank you for. Especially in the time we find ourselves right now in crisis of ailment and sickness, we keep gratitude for our health and our hearts and keep that vibration high. Knowing that feeling of gratitude and that feeling of high vibration, that itself can help to keep our immune systems lifted and to keep us healthy. As you feel your breath coming in the body and leaving the body, whenever you're comfortable enough to do so, you can start to take a nose-to-nose breath, letting the inhales move in through the nose and the exhales move out of the nose. And what's important as you continue this breath is that you keep your weight grounded in your sit bones. But then as we breathe in, we'll start to feel the body start to lift. We'll start to feel the spine lengthen and stack. And again, it's not something we have to force to happen in one breath. We allow it to happen breath by breath. Starting at the base of the spine, and then gently drawing the belly button in, you'll feel that low back start to stack. Maybe a gentle hug of the rib cage, and you'll start to feel that mid-body stack. And it's possible as you're moving through here, you might feel little spots in the spine where you need to take a slight twist or a side bend or a little shift forward or back to let your body find its way to sitting up nice and tall. Where eventually we have the belly button drawn in, the shoulders down the back. The hands can fall on the lap, on the knees, they could come to the ground, you can put them on your belly. Wherever you are most comfortable, wherever they were, is perfectly fine. And then we just let that breath naturally start to deepen. And you'll notice I don't have any music playing behind me. Maybe you have some soft music playing in the background for you. Facebook's a little funky about music, so we just kind of left that quiet for now. But you can also let your breath be your music. Let your breath, create the tempo and the rhythm for your practice. As we move through the practice today, and I will say inhale and exhale, it's important that you always move with your body and your breath, not necessarily with my words. And as you sit here with this breath in the beginning, you might notice that there are certain questions coming to your mind, or your mind's being pulled in different directions. And that's okay, it's pretty usual, pretty normal. It's by the end of the hour that we hope that kind of settles down. Taking a couple more breaths right here. I'm going to quiet my mouth for a moment so you can really get in touch with you, the space that you're in right now, allowing yourself to really feel what's happening in your body, to feel what's happening in your heart, and to recognize what's moving through your mind. Again, staying grounded through your sit bones, finding some soft lightness in your heart, find some softness in the face, the muscles around the jaw, the cheeks and around the eyes, releasing some of the tension that you hold, relaxing those shoulders. And I'm going to offer you a moment to set an intention for your practice, something we do at the beginning of almost every single one of our practices. If you would like, you can bring your hands to heart center and bow in your chin, and take a moment to dedicate your practice this hour to something. It's as simple as asking yourself, why did you come to your mat today? And then feeling that answer as to why into your heart. Maybe you come to your mat today because you want to be able to ground yourself so that you can be peaceful and calm for the people around you. Maybe it's that you need peace for yourself right now. You want to let the weight and what is heavy, what is going on around you, just kind of melt away for just the hour. Whatever it is, seal it into your heart. And anytime you need to come back to that intention. And I'll remind you time to time. When you're ready, we're going to let the arms come down by your sides. And then inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, letting your shoulder blades stay down the back, fingertips reaching up towards the sky. Continue to draw the belly button in and hug the ribs in. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and then cup the armpits in towards the midline, and maybe, just maybe, the gaze will look gently up towards the ceiling above you. And feel your breath moving through the length of your spine, letting your hips stay grounded and your heart feel nice and light. With your next exhale, we'll take the right hand to the outside of the right hip and reach over top with that left arm. Letting your gaze look up towards the sky, gently pull the left shoulder back. Both sit bones staying heavy down on the ground. So if you feel that left sit bone starting to lift off the earth, we'll just pull ourselves back gently towards neutral. And once it's glued in, maybe you find yourself sinking in a little bit more. If you find you have more to give in this space, maybe you walk the hand out gently and then bend in just a little bit deeper. Maybe you can take the forearm all the way down to the ground. Lengthening through the crown of the head, keeping the shoulders down away from the ears. Use an inhale to come back up through center, reach through the fingertips, core is nice and tight. And as you exhale, take a side bend over to the other side. So left hand to the outside of the left hip, right arm's gonna reach out over top. Gaze looking up towards the sky, pulling that right shoulder back just slightly, keeping that left shoulder down away from the ear, so maybe again you walk those hands out a little bit further. Maybe you come all the way down to the forearm. Again, focusing on the sit bones, staying even down on the ground. Elongating through the spine from the tailbone all the way up to the crown of the head. With an inhale, feel that breath, lift your spine, stack your spine, fingers come back up overhead. Feel your breath move in and your breath move out. And with an exhale, take a twist to the right. So you'll take your left hand to your right knee and your right hand behind your body, taking your gaze to look over your right shoulder. Spine is stacking nice and tall, so we're not leaning back into that back hand, but sitting up tall. Heart is open, shoulders down away from the ears. Feeling that breath move in and feeling the breath move out. Anytime we twist, or really any posture, it's possible as we breathe in, we'll pull ourselves out just slightly. As we exhale, it will naturally draw us back in just a little bit deeper. With an inhale, come back up through center, lengthening through the spine, engaging through your core. And then with an exhale, take your twist to the other side. So right hand to the left knee, left hand behind the body, draw the belly button in, and take your gaze over the shoulder. I'm not sure if you can hear me when I go towards the back of the room, so I'm trying to keep my gaze towards you, but you should be looking over that left shoulder. Draw the belly button in as you exhale to really press the air out of the lungs. Shoulders down away from the ears, lifting through the crown of the head. With an inhale, sweep your arms back up overhead. Draw the belly button in, fingertips reach towards the sky. And this time as you exhale, we're going to take our hands about 6 inches behind the body, maybe even a little less. Fingertips pointing in towards the hips. And as you inhale, you'll press into your palms, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and press the heart towards the sky, lifting your chin towards the ceiling. And feeling that breath move up past the heart space, opening up through the shoulders. And if you want a little bit more here, you can press your knees down to the ground and lift the hips up towards the sky, dropping the head back even further. Pressing through the palms, squeezing the shoulder blades and opening up the front of the chest. With an exhale, lower your sit bones back down to the ground. Draw your belly button in. Inhale, sweeps the arms up overhead, find length in the spine. And as you exhale, you're going to hinge at the hips and lead with the collarbones. And when you can't fold any further forward, you'll let your hands come down to the ground and then just tuck your chin. And this fold will look very different for everybody, so it's possible this fold is more here. Seated nice and tall with the chin tucked slightly, or maybe you're very flexible in the hips and you're folded out just a little bit further. Wherever you've landed here, I'm going to check out what you're saying to make sure you can hear me, but perfect. Wherever you've landed here, make sure that your shoulders are soft and relaxed. And see what you can do to explore the backside of your body. To feel the breath opening up through the spine and allowing yourself to truly surrender in on each exhale. Letting the weight of the day just melt with each breath out and allowing yourself to draw in peace, to draw in light with each inhale. With your next exhale, slowly roll yourself up one vertebra at a time so the spine comes to a stack. You roll the shoulders down the back and let the palms land wherever the palms land. With an inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. And as you exhale, we're going to plant the hands in front of the knees and then roll ourselves over the top of the knees into a tabletop position. So the hands come underneath the shoulders and the knees come underneath the hips. Now I know for some of you, rolling over top of the knees isn't really going to work for you, and that's perfectly fine. Just make your way to this tabletop position. Hands underneath the shoulders, index fingers pointing forward, knees right underneath the hips, and we draw the belly button in so we have this long, flat spine, reaching the crown of the head out towards the front of the room, shoulder blades down the back, and tailbone reaching towards the wall behind you. We'll move through a couple of cat-cows. So with an inhale, you're going to lift your hips towards the sky, drop your belly low, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and lift through the crown of the head. Pressing through the palms, engaging the muscles on the back side of the body, and stretching out the muscles on the front. With an exhale, we're going to curl the tailbone under, press the spine up towards the sky, and tuck the chin in, rounding through like a scaredy Halloween cat. Continuing to draw that tailbone and chin towards one another. And then we move through these with one breath, one movement. So inhales, lift the hips, drop the belly, and open the heart. And exhales, round everything in like a scaredy Halloween cat. Continue to move through these with your breath. Inhales to lift, and exhales to round. And as much as this practice of yoga is a very disciplined practice, keep moving the way you're moving here. I do want to offer you the space to find a little bit of freedom here. So if these cat-cows turn into some C shapes where maybe you look over one shoulder and then the other, or maybe you even turn them into hip circles, or they can kind of shift forward and back, as long as you're moving with your breath, all is well. And so take this time in these cat-cows or some variation thereof to really explore your body. See what it is that you're hanging on to today. Where you're feeling extra tension, where you're feeling a little loosey-goosey. And just allow yourself to be present in the moment with your body. Give yourself 3 more rounds of breath. So 3 more inhales and 3 exhales. And after your 3rd breath, no rush or hurry to get to this space, we're going to come back to that neutral tabletop position with the knees under the hips, the hands under the shoulders, cores in nice and tight. And we're going to move into spinal balance. You can take this in 1 breath or you can take it in 2. I'm going to show you in 2. We'll use an inhale to take the right arm out toward the wall in front of you. Thumb is up and pinky's down. Try to keep your chest square to the ground. So we didn't roll our heart open here, but we stayed even. With your next inhale, take your left leg, so the opposite leg, to the back of the room, pressing that left heel towards the wall behind you, trying to take any of that arch out of the spine so we keep that core engaged nice and tight. Hips and chest square to the ground, and breathing through the length of your spine, driving energy out your heel and right out through the crown of your head. With an inhale, get as long as you can, fingertips to toes, and with an exhale, draw your elbow and knee together underneath your body. And then inhale, get as long as you can, and exhale to crunch it in. One more time, inhale, get nice and long, and exhale to crunch it in. Last time here, inhale, get nice and long, hold it here. Find that strong core, long lengthened spine. We're going to put a bend in the back knee. And then see if you can sweep your right arm around to grab on to the top of your left foot or even your left shin. As you inhale, you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together and press your foot into your palm to lift your heart towards the sky. If you can't reach your foot, it's okay. We just keep reaching for it. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Find that arch in the spine. Slowly release with an exhale, taking the hand and the foot down to the ground. We'll take the big toes together, the knees out wide. Let your hips press back towards your heels, and then let your heart and your forehead come down towards the ground. Feel your breath. This child's pose is a restorative posture that you can come to at any point in time during your practice. So if you find that you're getting a little out of breath, or your head is wandering all over the place and you just need to come back to center, this stretched out child's pose is a great place to come to regain center and to recollect your breath. With an inhale, we're going to come back up to our tabletop position. Hands come underneath the shoulders and knees come underneath the hips. Finding that long lengthened spine, pressing your tailbone towards the wall behind you, engaging your core. Index fingers forward. We take spinal balance on the other side, so you choose 1 breath or 2. Inhale is going to take the left arm out to the front of the room, thumb up, pinky down, chest stays square to the ground, and then the next inhale is going to take the right leg to the back of the room. Try not to dump into the belly, but keeping that long lengthened spine. It's called spinal balance for a reason, so if you find yourself wobbly here, know that that's totally normal. Draw the belly button in tighter and really focus into the breath. With an inhale, get as long as you can. And with an exhale, bring your elbow and knee together underneath the body. Breathe all the way out. Inhale, get nice and long. Exhale to crunch it in. Inhale for length. Press through, reach through. Exhale to crunch it in. Last time. Inhale, get super long here, and then as you exhale, put a bend in the back knee, circling your left arm around for your right foot. And then as you inhale, pressing that foot into the hand, squeezing the shoulder blades and taking your gaze out in front of you. Breathe here. And with an exhale, slowly release the hand and the foot back down to the ground. One more time, big toes together, knees out wide, hips back to the heels, and then stretch out into that child's pose. Reconnecting with your breath in this space. Starting to trace the breath through the length of the spine. Letting your inhales come from your tailbone towards the crown of your head. And sending the exhales back down towards the tail. Relaxing through the shoulders. And softening the space around the eyes, around the cheeks and the jaw. Feel each breath. Know that each breath is a gift as you breathe in, and having full faith and trust as you surrender on the exhale. That the next breath will come and it will bring you just as much light and peace and energy so that you can breathe out again. When you're ready, we're going to make our way back into that tabletop position. And then we're going to curl the toes under, and we're going to come into our first down dog. So you'll press your hips towards the sky, pressing through your palms. Soft bend in your knees, so we're not locked out through the legs, very soft bend. Our index fingers are still pointing forward here. We press through the palms, let the chest drop back towards the thighs. Draw your belly button in, so your ribs aren't flaring out forward, but they're drawing in towards your hips. Again, soften the legs, trying to feel as much space between your fingertips and your tailbone and your heels. And if you want to walk it out and bend one knee and then the other, or take the hips side to side and explore what's happening in your body here, of course that's A-okay. Come back to the breath and come back to your spine. Feel the breath. Feel your physical body. Feel your fingertips on the ground. Feel your palms on the ground. Feel the muscles, the bones of your body, that physical structure. And trust that it will hold you right in this space. And then feel how your breath can expand this body from within. And so you fill this physical container that is you with this breath of life that is a gift to you. Use an inhale, come up to your toes, look between your hands, softly bend your knees, and then as you exhale, walk your feet towards the front of the mat so you land in this forward fold. Inhale to come halfway up, bring your hands to your shins or maybe even the thighs. Maybe they're down on a block or the ground, but most likely on the shins. As you press your palms into your shins, your shoulder blades will come down the back. We keep our belly button in nice and tight, and we have this long, straight spine. With an exhale, soft bend in the knees and fold in. Letting the crown of the head hang nice and heavy, down towards the toes. Relaxing the shoulders down the back. Breathe here, one breath at a time. Trying to find equal weight between both feet. Between the right foot and the left foot, and between the fronts and the backs of the feet. Now this bend in your knees can be really micro, or you can take a really deep bend in your knees. What we're looking for is for your abdomen to come rest on your thighs. So if you find yourself out here, trying to find straight legs, but the body's just kind of hanging, put that bend in your knees, draw your belly button in, and bend as much as you need to in order to make that happen. And then let the crown of the head hang heavy. See if you can wrap your arms around your legs, give yourself a nice little hug. Take an inhale and lift your hips just a little bit higher, like a millimeter higher. And then as you exhale, let the crown of the head hang even heavier. And breathe. Breathing length into the spine and letting go on the exhales. Releasing that hug you might have around your legs. Press into your feet. Use an inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Sweep the arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, equal standing pose. So our big toes come to touch and there's an inch or so between our heels. Hands at heart center, shoulders down the back. While it may seem very restful, a lot is happening here. So we're grounded through our feet, pressing into our feet. We pick up our kneecaps by engaging the quadriceps. Tailbone is right underneath us, so it's not tucking forward, but it's not pressed out behind us. It's right down to the ground, so there's a slight engagement of our glutes. Belly button's drawn in, ribs hugged in, shoulders squeezed together on the back, and we're reaching up through the crown of the head, so we're lengthening through the spine. With an inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, fingertips reach up towards the sky. We're going to grab onto the left wrist and exhale, side bend over to the right. So just like we did on the ground, you're going to pull that left shoulder back just slightly, reach the heart up towards the sky, and find that length through the fingertips, but find space between the shoulder and the ear. We're searching for space between each and every single one of our ribs. And while we seek space in the left side of the body here, we find more space and more depth in this fold if we think about breathing into the right side of the body, elongating the right side, and then maybe coming in just a little bit deeper. With an inhale, come back up through center, switch your grip, and then exhale, take it over to the other side. Right shoulder pulls back, gaze up towards the sky, finding that length in the spine while staying grounded through your feet. Feel each breath. Use an inhale, come back through center. Lift your chin, lift your chest, open your heart towards the sky, press your heart towards the sky. And then as you exhale, fold forward over two long legs. Use an inhale to come halfway up, so hands to the shins here again, reaching through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, fold in. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing, sweep the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, draw the hands to heart center. Take a moment here to remember your intention. Or if you didn't set an intention, just a moment to find some gratitude. Gratitude for your ability to be at home right now. To have a roof over your head, to be surrounded by family potentially. To have the internet, to be able to be in this space with us in this shared community. This gratitude just to be, to have the freedom to be yourself, and the freedom to be right here. When you're ready, inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, grab onto your left wrist with that exhale, side bend over to the right. Use an inhale, come back through center, switch your grip, and side bend over to the left. Use an inhale, come back through center, lift your chin and your chest, open your heart, and then exhale, fold forward over your two long legs. Inhale, come halfway up. This time as you exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands, step or hop your feet to the back of the mat, finding the top of a plank. And you can always come down to your knees here if you need to come down to your knees. So if your legs are out long, we're pressing through those heels, squeezing the muscles of the legs right into the bones, slightly engaged to the glutes. Draw the belly button in, hug the whole core in nice and tight, belly button to your spine. We're pressing through the palms and you almost feel your shoulder blades separating on your back. If you're down on your knees, we're still really focused on drawing that belly button in, almost pulling it up towards your heart, and reaching through the crown of the head. Now, if you're not familiar with yoga, we're all going to come down to our knees, and as we take this Chaturanga Dandasana, it's our tricep push-up. So we don't push up with our arms out wide, we squeeze our triceps in. You can almost think about corkscrewing your hands down into the ground, so your elbow creases face out in front of you. And then we're going to lower our heart down towards the ground, finding 90 degrees in the elbows, gaze slightly forward, and then press into your palms. Inhale, lift your heart, squeeze your shoulder blades together on your back, and you can keep your legs down right on the ground, or you can press into the tops of your feet and lift your thighs up off of the ground. Shoulder blades still squeezed together. And then we're going to curl the toes under and press the hips up towards the sky as you exhale. Finding down dog, we've been here once before. So press into your palms, press into your palms, lift your hips high, drop your heels down towards the ground, squeeze the belly button in, hugging the ribs in towards the hips so they're not flaring forward. Letting your gaze look towards your belly button. If that seems insane, that's a-okay. You can look towards your hips or your knees, or even down towards your toes. With an inhale, we're gonna lift our right leg up towards the sky, trying to keep your hips nice and square to the ground. So we're not rolling out just yet, but we're pressing that foot towards the wall behind us, keeping the weight even in our hands. And then with an exhale, we're gonna roll the right hip on top of the left, put a bend in your knee, try to kick yourself in your bottom. And then find as much space between the tip of your right pinky and your right knee as you possibly can as you breathe in, keeping your weight, again, even in your hands. With an inhale, come back through three-legged dog, square the hips, press through your heel. And as you exhale, take that right foot all the way up between your hands and come down to your back knee. So we're in this low runner's lunge with our knee on the ground. We're going to move into a kneeling crescent pose. So we squeeze the inner thighs together, draw your belly button in, and then inhale to sweep your arms up overhead, fingertips reach up towards the sky. If you're feeling this in your low back at all, pull yourself out a little bit, tuck your tailbone under, and then sink in just a little bit deeper. We want to feel this in the front of the hip flexor. Our core is still engaged nice and tight as those fingertips reach up towards the sky, but the shoulders stay squeezed together on the back. So this kneeling crescent pose is really meant to be a little bit more of a back bend, but we don't find that by dumping in the back, by lifting the heart towards the sky. So with every inhale, we lift like there's a string pulling our sternum up towards the ceiling. And with the exhales, we trust our legs. One more inhale here. And then as you exhale, you're going to twist to the right. So you'll take your left hand to the outside of your right knee and your right hand towards the wall behind you. Draw the belly button in and take your gaze to follow your right thumb. If you're a little wobbly here, find all four corners of that front foot. Press down into your back shin and engage the core a little bit more. With an inhale, come back through center, both hands up towards the sky. And as you exhale, we'll take the hands down to surround the front foot. You can stay on your back leg or on your back knee here, or you can tuck your back toes under and elongate. We're going to walk the left hand in about an inch, and then sweep the right arm up towards the sky, coming into dragonfly twist or modified dragonfly twist. Pull that left shoulder down away from the ear, press through the palm and reach through those right fingers. Check in to make sure the crown of the head is still reaching out forward. And so we're not looking behind us, but looking up towards the sky. With an exhale, take that right hand back down to the ground. We're going to press back to half split. So we're going to start to straighten out that right leg. Left knee is going to come right over top, or right underneath the left hip. Pull the right toes back towards you. Your hands can walk back. If you have blocks, you can always take your hands on some blocks for support. We're letting ourselves lay out over this long leg, so we're getting a beautiful stretch in the back of the right leg. You might feel it in the calf. You might feel it a little bit more in the hamstring. Most importantly, feel your breath. Beautiful thing about breath in this yoga practice, your breath will always be your number one guide. So if you think about breathing your breath into your spinal column, your body will tell you if you need to pull out a little bit more, or if you need to sink in a little bit deeper, or if you need to shift left or right. Just breathe into the spine and really listen to what your body has to say to you. With your next inhale, we're going to shift back into that low lunge. This time we're going to bring both hands to the inside of the right foot. Slowly take that right foot maybe out an inch or two. And you can stay right here on your palms if you want to stay right here on your palms. If you have blocks, you could even bring blocks underneath your hands. Or you can take your forearms all the way down to the ground here, finding again that length in the spine. Go to a space where you find some sensation, a little bit of sensation because that's where we grow, but where you can still really maintain your breath. Allowing this nice stretch in the outside of that right hip, maybe a little bit in the right hamstring. Close your eyes and feel your breath. If you came down onto your forearms, you are going to lift back up to the palms. We'll take the right hand to the outside of the right foot, so you'll kind of sneak that right foot back on under. We're going to curl the back toes under, stretch that leg out long, and then press through your hands, kind of round through your spine like we did in that cat pose in the very beginning, and then see if you can just lift that right foot off the mat and hover it. If you can't, it's okay. We're just going to take it to the back of the mat. We're going to end up taking that right foot all the way back and find that down dog position. Press into your palms. Lengthen through the back side of the body. Draw the belly button in. Hug the ribs in. Soft bend in those knees as you reach the heels down to the ground. Find your weight square in your chest, even in your palms. Use an inhale, lift your left leg to the sky, to the wall behind you, really. Pressing through that left heel. When you're ready, we're going to use an exhale to roll the left hip on top of the right, put a bend in the knee, try to kick yourself in the bottom. Finding all the space you can between the left pinky and the left knee. Weight stays even in the hands here. Breathe. Use an inhale, come back through three-legged dog, square the hips and the chest, and then as you exhale, you're going to take that left foot all the way up between the hands. Come down to the back knee, untuck your toes. Squeeze your inner thighs together, draw your belly button in, and inhale to lift your heart, coming into your kneeling crescent on the left side. So again, if you feel this in the low back, pull back out of your hips, tuck your tailbone under, and then sink in just a little bit deeper. Lifting the heart up towards the sky, taking your gaze to follow towards the ceiling if that serves you. Every inhale lifting you, and every exhale maybe dropping you in just a little bit deeper. Draw the belly button in, hug the ribs in just slightly. Maybe you come to interlace the fingers. And then with an exhale, we're going to twist, so we're going to take the right hand to the outside of the left knee, left hand to the back of the room, and gaze looks for those left fingers. Shoulders down away from the ears, and breathe. Knowing that this twist adds definitely an element of balance to it, so if you feel a little wobbly, feel your breath, lift through your heart, engage through your core. Use an inhale to come back up through center, both arms up towards the sky. And as we exhale, we're going to take the hands down to the ground. Walk the right hand in about an inch or two. Again, maybe you extend through the back leg, maybe you keep it down on the ground. We're going to inhale the left arm up towards the sky, coming into dragonfly twist. Right shoulder pulls down away from the ear, finding length in the spine. Finding all the space you can between your right palm and your left fingers, and from the tip of your right toes all the way through to the crown of your head. With an exhale, take that left hand back down to the ground. We're going to shift back to half split, so if your back leg's lifted, you'll have to set it back down on the ground. And we're going to pull that the left toes back towards us as we straighten out the left leg. Hands are going to walk back. And then we're going to let the body lay out long over that left leg, maybe letting the nose come down towards the knee. Trying not to shift too far back so we're not sitting on our back heel, but keeping that right hip right over top of the right knee. And breathe. Softening the muscles in your jaw and your cheeks around your eyes. Allowing yourself to be present with this breath right here. Using an inhale, we'll shift back forward into that low lunge. We'll take the left hand to the inside of the left leg here, so maybe you walk that left foot out the tiniest bit. And you can keep both palms down on the ground, or you could bring your forearms down to the ground, whichever serves you best right here in this moment. Feel your breath. Feel it moving through the length of your spine. Engage through the core. So we're always staying tight through the abdomen. Maybe you find that you have a little bit more space to move in after you've taken a couple of breaths. Knowing that in this practice of yoga, you are never, ever, ever stuck in a position. It's never like you take yourself into a posture and then there you are, you found it. With every single breath, we seek for more exploration of the body. We seek just a little bit more depth in the posture. If you came down to your forearms, we're going to come back up to our palms. We'll take the left hand to the outside of the left foot. We're going to press into the palms, almost round through the spine. Tuck those back toes under, and then we're going to see if we can just lift that left leg and then take it all the way to the back of the mat, finding our down dog position. Index fingers pointing forward, palms firmly rooted. Pressing through the palms, shoulders gently squeezing together on the back. Lifting through the tailbone and drawing the belly button in. Again, gaze looks for the belly button, the hips, the knees, and then maybe the ankles. Use an inhale, come up to your toes. We're not going to hop forward. We're just going to lower the knees so they hover about 1 inch above the earth. Draw your belly button in nice and tight. This is what we would call a bear pose. And then exhale, press back to down dog. A little bit of shoulder and core work happening here. Inhale, come up to your toes. Exhale, hover your knees about 1 inch above the ground. Lengthen through your spine. And with an exhale, press back to down dog. Last one here. Inhale up to your toes. Exhale, hover down about 1 inch above the ground. And then press back to down dog. This time we are going to make our way forward. So you can inhale, come up to your toes, look between your hands. And exhale, you can walk, step, or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, reach out halfway. And then exhale, fold in. Maybe you grab onto opposite elbows. Maybe you grab onto the backs of the legs. Soft bend in the knees. Let the crown of the head hang nice and heavy. Relaxing through the shoulders. And breathe. Maybe give your head a gentle shake, yes. Or a gentle shake, no. Pressing evenly into both of your feet. Use an inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Sweep the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, draw your hands to heart center. Rooted through your feet. Long and strong through your spine. Taking a moment here to again either revisit your intention or to offer some gratitude. We're going to move into a little bit of balance here. So we're going to first move into what we call marcher's pose. So we're going to shift our weight into our left foot without dumping into our left hip. We're going to stay lifted nice and tall. And as we inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up overhead and pull the right knee in towards the chest. Now balance, some days is super easy and you feel like a rock star, and other days balance is really, really challenging. Whether or not you're on wood floor or a mat or carpet right now can make a difference. So wherever you are, just breathe and let it be okay. Draw the belly button in. We almost hollow through the belly. Cup the armpits in towards the midline. Marcher's pose, often referred to as marionette pose. Marcher's pose is very strong. We draw it up. Marionette is like there's this string that just lifts it for us, so it's a little bit more fluid. From here, we're going to move into airplane pose. So with an exhale, we're going to press our right heel towards the wall behind us and spread the arms out nice and wide. Hips and chest square to the ground, so we're not lifting that hip high, but trying to keep it square, which means really engaging through our core. Draw the belly button in. And if you want a little bit more challenge here, you can inhale, take your arms out towards the front of the room, turning this into warrior 3. So again, you can stay in airplane, or you can take the arms out forward. And if you want even a little bit more here, you can mimic what we did in spinal balance. And as you exhale, draw your elbows and your knee towards each other. And then inhale, get nice and long. Exhale, draw it in. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Inhale for that length. You're either in warrior 3 or airplane pose. And with your next inhale, come all the way up to marcher's pose. Pulling that knee up in towards your chest, hollow through the belly, lengthen through the spine. And with an exhale, set the hands back at the heart center and the foot down on the ground. You can wiggle it out if you need to wiggle it out. Find that breath, find your feet down on the ground. If you'd rather take your arms down by your sides and come into your mountain pose, you can take your hands down by your sides or keep them at your heart. We're going to shift the weight into the right foot. And with an inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up overhead, pull the left knee in towards the chest. Hollow through the belly, lengthen through the spine, reach through the fingertips without taking those shoulders way up towards the ears. And breathe. Check in with where your mind is and find your breath. Focus on this moment, this breath. With an exhale, we're going to press the left leg to the wall behind us, taking the arms out into T. Draw the belly button in, square everything up. And if you want to increase this, you can take the arms out to the front of the room, warrior 3. And if you wanted to take those crunches, you'll take your exhale to take your elbow and knee together. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to crunch. Inhale to lengthen. Last one, exhale to crunch. Inhale to lengthen. Breathe where you are. And then inhale, come all the way back up to marcher's pose. Hollow through the belly. Lengthen through the spine. Find your breath. And as you exhale, set it all down. Samasthiti, equal standing pose. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, swan dive forward over 2 straight legs. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands, step or hop to the back of the mat, top of a plank. You can always come down to the knees. Breathe. Pressing through the palms, shoulders separating on the back, belly buttons engaged, heels reaching towards the wall behind you. You have 2 options. You can just press back to down dog here, or you can take your half vinyasa, taking your exhale to lower the heart down to the ground. Inhale to lift the heart for your up dog, and then exhale to find down dog. And we all meet in this same space. Breathe here. Once again, feel your physical body. Feel your skin, feel your muscles, feel your bones. And then feel how your breath can expand you from the inside. Create space inside of your body just using your breath. Use an inhale, come up to your toes, and then exhale, hover your knees an inch above the ground. And with an exhale, take your knees all the way down to the ground. We're going to walk the knees over to one side, come down to the opposite hip, and then circle your legs around to face the front of the room. You can again pull the flesh out from underneath you and really feel those sit bones root and ground. We're going to inhale to sweep the arms up overhead, pull your toes back towards you, and as you exhale, lead with your collarbones, taking a forward fold out over your long legs. If you can't reach your toes, it's a-okay. You just take your arms down by your sides or right onto your shins, let them fall where they fall. If you can reach your toes, you can take your peace fingers, index and middle finger, to the inside of your big toe, and then draw yourself in just a little bit deeper. Shoulders down away from the ears, shoulder blades squeezing together on the back. And breathe. Feel that breath move through the length of the spine. Softening the muscles in the face, around the jaw, the nose, the eyes, and the forehead. And then use an inhale to roll yourself back on up, stacking one vertebra on top of another. And then from here, we can put a bend in our knees, and we're going to lower ourselves all the way down onto our backs. Letting our feet come right behind our hips, about hips distance between our knees. Walking the hips towards the bottom, the feet towards the bottom. Arms are going to come down by your sides. Palms spread nice and wide so you give yourself this nice firm foundation. Before we really lift, press into your feet, lift about half an inch to an inch, tuck your tailbone, and then set your spine back down on the ground, and you'll feel that length through the spine. Keep that slight engagement of the low abdomen, that slight tuck of the tailbone. Hold that throughout this whole posture. We're going to press into our feet, and as you inhale, point your knees towards the front of the room as you lift your hips up towards the sky. You can walk your shoulder blades together underneath you. Maybe you grab onto opposite hands, interlacing your fingers and reach those knuckles out towards the front of the room. And as we breathe here, we want to feel the breath move past the heart space and open up the chest. This is our bridge pose, and the bridge is equally supported on both sides. So we want to feel ourselves supported by our feet, but also by our shoulders. With an exhale, lower back down to the ground. Try not to hug your knees in towards your chest. Stay right where you are. Just take a breath in and take a breath out. And then one more time, inhale, lift those hips, walk the shoulders underneath you, reach the knuckles out towards the front of the room, lift those hips just a little bit higher, breathing up past that heart space. And then with an exhale, lower your hips back down to the ground. This time, go ahead and pull your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. Maybe take a gentle rock side to side. Go ahead and plant your feet back down on the ground, really close to your bottom. We'll take the arms out into T. You're going to press into your feet, lift your hips about an inch, walk your hips about an inch or two to the right side, and then let your knees fall over to the left side. Trying to let the knees stack right on top of one another, the hips stack one on top of another, and let your gaze look over towards your right fingers. Softly letting both of your shoulders come down to the ground. Starting to find a little bit more calm in the breath. Relax through the tips of your toes. Soften your ankles, your calves, your thighs. Relaxing the hips and the belly. Feeling that heart soft and float. Just feel your breath. With an inhale, draw your legs back through center. You'll probably have to kind of press into those feet to center yourself out. And then just like we set up on the other side, we're going to press in, lift the hips about an inch or two, walk them an inch or two over to the left, and then this time we're going to let those knees drop over to the right side, and the gaze will look towards your left hand. Letting the hips stack and the knees stack. Trying to make sure the arms are right out in T. They're not way up overhead. That's going to keep your shoulders up towards your ears, so we want to keep them right out to our sides. Again, taking a scan of the body from your toes all the way up towards the crown of your head and softening what you find along the way. Allowing yourself to draw in peace with every inhale and to release what's heavy on every exhale with full faith and trust that the next breath will come so you truly can let go. When you're ready, we'll pull the legs back through center, centering through that spine, lengthening through the spine. Draw your knees in towards your chest here again. We'll take a happy baby. So we're going to take the arms to the insides of the knees, grab onto the outside edges of your feet, and then draw your knees down towards the ground or towards your armpits. And you can play with it here, take a little rock side to side if that feels good for you. Happy baby is probably the cutest yoga posture because it's called happy baby, and it's to remind us how babies like to grab onto their feet and then try to put their feet in their mouth, which I'm not going to try to do, but you are welcome to. If you want to feel a little bit more in this happy baby, draw your shoulder blades down to the ground. See what you can do to press your sacrum, so the lowest part of your spine down into the ground. Draw your belly button in. Pull your knees down, and then without letting your knees move, press your feet up towards the sky, and you'll feel this activate almost everywhere in the body. And then when you're ready, just release, exhale, pull your knees in towards your chest, give yourself a nice big hug. If there's something else you need to do To feel complete, of course, go ahead and take it, but we end every single yoga class in our Shavasana pose. So we just stretch the legs out long on the mat. We let our arms come down by our sides. Traditionally, the palms face up towards the sky. This is a gesturing of both a willingness to let go, but also a willingness to receive. This final pose, this Shavasana, it means corpse pose, and it truly is about teaching us to let go, to surrender everything that is us, to surrender it. For just a couple of moments, to take everything you think you know to be true about yourself and the world, and just let it go. Completely release it. Knowing that when we draw ourselves back from this rest in a couple of moments, whatever is true and whatever is good, it will be here when we come back. But we hope that maybe, just maybe, something that was heavy, something that was false, something that maybe was holding us back, might just fade away and create the space for something new to move in. Let your heels get heavy, your hips, your shoulders, and the back of your head. Release control of your breath. Allow your eyes to fall heavy to the back of your head, and your tongue to come off the roof of your mouth. And as much as you may want to move or shift or get out of this in the next couple of minutes, trust that we won't be here too long, and it is worth the stillness. So let yourself just be right here for a couple of moments in your yoga rest. Slowly start to bring your awareness back to your body. And gently wiggle your fingers and your toes, your ankles and your wrists. Taking the head side to side and bringing some larger movements into your limbs. Eventually you'll pull your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. And as you wrap your arms around your legs, as you give yourself this nice big hug, make sure you take a moment to tell yourself you love yourself. And if that felt really funny, make sure you say it 3 more times. And if it felt really great, definitely say it 3 more times. And then when you're ready, we're going to start to rock and roll our way forward and back until we come all the way up to a nice comfortable seat, right where we started class. Letting your hands land where they land and your spine stacked tall. Taking a moment to let your eyes fall closed and your hips drop heavy. Rooting yourself down into the ground. Grounding yourself into this peace. Maybe even taking a moment to feel that gentle vibration that rolls through your body in this moment. This practice of yoga is about so much more than the physical body. This practice of yoga is about allowing ourselves to really feel what it is that we carry in our bodies, that we take with us through each and every day, and give ourselves the opportunity to release what no longer serves us. This opportunity, this practice of yoga is about connecting to something bigger than ourselves. So whether you call that God or your higher self or Mother Earth or the universe, whatever it is to you, this practice is about trusting that there's something more than just us. And if we can come to that place in our hearts and our minds and our bodies, we can trust that what's happening in the world right now around us in some way, shape, or form can be served as a gift. And so we can take the time to read the book we've been dying to read, to connect with our family in a way we may have been neglecting to connect, to take the nap that we needed to take, whatever else it may be. As challenging as this is for so many of us, know that you are not alone in your struggles and your fears and your worries. But if we can put our trust into something bigger and we can lean on each other, we will absolutely know that we will be okay. We will make it through this time, and once again, we are not alone. When you're ready, bring your hands to heart center, thumbs pressed against your sternum, and then bow in your chin. This is Anjali Mudra, the universal sign of gratitude. So as you bow in, give thanks for your amazing and strong, capable bodies, and for the breath of life that flows through you. And as you bow in, recognize the light that shines in the center of your heart, and I truly mean to see that light. Even if you have to dig away the layers, dig away until you see that shimmer, that sparkle, that glisten of light, and then send it all the way down to the tips of your toes. Send it all the way out to the tips of your fingers, and then right up to the tip-top crown of your head. Lift your chin, lift your chest, and let the light that is you, the light that shines through you, let it shine right out into the world, without fear, without doubt, and full of hope for a beautiful future. The light and the love within my heart humbly bows. The light and love inside each and every one of yours. Thank you so much for practicing with me this evening. Namaste. Thank you. I have no idea who was on here or what you all had to say, so I'm excited to read all of that. But you can catch us all week. So I think tomorrow we've got like Stacy lined up. We've got BYC, so Brighton Yoga Center, and SoulShine, I'm pretty sure, working together to make sure that you have practices to come to. So please make sure, if you need it, to come here. You should be able to see these later as well, so there's plenty of time to get to it. But take the time to breathe. Take the time to take time for yourself. Take care of your babies. Take care of your family, but take care of you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all very much. I have no idea how to get out of this.